All righty. He's Fillmore Mike's favorite guest on this show, Odyssey NFL insider Ross Tucker. What's going on, Ross? Ross, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome. Who am I his favorite guest?
Okay, so I always call you one of our favorites.
Right.
And we got a listener, Fillmore Mike, who called in and said, come on now, you're not one of our favorites. So now I always say you're Fillmore Mike's favorite.
Oh, that stinks. So it's like you're busting my chops and Fillmore Mike's chops?
Mostly Fillmore Mike, because you are among our favorite guests. Absolutely.
Fillmore Mike, you got to fill me in on social media, at Ross Tucker NFL. Why am I not his favorite?
All right.
Can't handle the truth, Fillmore Mike? What does Fillmore Mike even mean? What is that?
He's from Fillmore out here in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's a district in San Francisco. But maybe
it's a borough.
Maybe he didn't like the way you were talking about his Akron Zips last night.
We were watching.
What do you mean? He's an Akron Zip fan?
No, I'm just kind of making it up.
Bad material.
Yeah. Now, you know what? I was talking great about them. They played great. I love Maction. It's so fun. I mean, Tuesday night football. It's amazing how many text messages and tweets I get from people watching. I think it's primarily people betting.
Yes.
Although evidently you guys aren't interested in doing that in California, huh?
Wow, that hurt. Ross.
Ross, you're talking to
I was a man. I had some action
with the sickness.
Yeah.
Do you bet on that conference, right?
Here's my question.
Maction.
Like, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Why do I'm sure there's like a logical reason. Why do the voters in California not want all that money? Because obviously people like you, Daryl, are still betting.
Yeah, Ross, I appreciate the Daryl reference, but you can go buy weed, the Snoop Dogg, but you can't place a bet. Ross, it's all about a power trip, man. And I don't know how California couldn't see how this would help everything. It's saddened, and it got voted down twice, Ross. There was 2 measures, and both of them lost, brother.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very, very interesting. I don't know. I don't get into politics and stuff. I'm sure there's some logic or something that I couldn't possibly understand, but I know this. It's a lot of money for the state. A lot of money for the state for something that people are already doing anyway.
That's true. That's
true. There you go. Yeah.
Ross Tucker joining us on 95.7 The Game. He joins us usually on Tuesdays, but we moved him to Wednesday because of his obligations. The 49ers have been banged up a little bit in the first half of the season, Ross, but I'm just looking at a bunch of names. Armstead, Deebo Samuel, Jason Verrett, Dre Greenlaw, Al Shire, Elijah Mitchell, and Juszczyk. They could all be back this week or next. When you handicap the NFC West, especially after the Christian McCaffrey trade, how do you handicap it right now?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I'm kind of a believer in the Seahawks. I really am. I mean, I think they're good. I mean, when you get to 9 games and they're 6-3, I don't really care what my preconceived notions were coming into the year anymore. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, you got to realize you got to go with kind of what you're seeing. And what I'm seeing is that Seattle's good. I mean, they're playing better defense now. Geno Smith is like a top 5 MVP candidate. And I'm as surprised as anyone. I wasn't expecting it. Nobody was. But it's the truth. And I got to tell you, I love it. I'm one of those guys, okay, that when it's like a primetime game or like when P.J. Walker, all right, gets the start for the Panthers, I love that. Like, I want as many guys as possible. It's probably because I played. I want as many guys as possible to get a chance to start an NFL game, right? Because, number one, it's like an incredible accomplishment that nobody can ever take away from you. But number two, like, you get to show what you can do. I mean, you get to show how well you can play at that level. And I'm bringing that up because you rarely get a second. You rarely get a second chance. And even when you do, how often in life or in sports do people actually make the most of it, right? Probably not that often. Gino's doing it, man. I mean, he's doing it. He's getting a second chance after a long time, and he's making it happen, and I'm thrilled for him. I think it's a great lesson for all of us that it's kind of never too late to reinvent yourself type of thing.
Yeah, Ross, and you could speak to this. Basketball season started. The Warriors, defending champs, but something we saw Draymond punch Poole. We asked you about that a couple weeks ago, and the synergy seems to be off. But when I watch Seattle, it seems like they're a fraternity, like they're having fun. Carroll's on it. And what about Kirk Cousins on the airplane? Now, I could be wrong, but I told Steiny that's the type of stuff I believe helps teams later down the road. Maybe not on 3rd and 8, but just some of that where it feels like everybody's on the same page. Am I wrong to speak to that? That stuff matters, that bonding.
Totally agree. Absolutely agree. I don't think there's any question that stuff matters. I don't know how much, to be honest with you, they're laughing with Kirk Cousins
right.
versus Adam.
Oh, what was Adam doing?
Healthy combo, but here's the beauty of it. I think he kind of knows they're laughing at him, and he's going with it. And I respect that, I mean, we know what he's really like, and he's having fun with it, and those guys, I think they really appreciate that he's letting them have fun with him. He's letting them, get all these social media moments. Pretty cool, man. It really is. I do think it matters, and I think it's one of the reasons why the Vikings are winning all these close games. It is interesting, though, guys, because I do a lot of Philadelphia media, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what team gets brought up maybe the most about being a threat to the Philadelphia Eagles?
These guys?
Your Niners.
Oh, go ahead.
Isn't that something? I'm not saying that I don't know if I'm there yet. I certainly think they have some potential, but they got to make the playoffs.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, they got to get on their horse and start to win some more games. I understand where people are coming from in terms of, hey, they got some really talented players, and now they got McCaffrey. They're getting some other guys back. But I don't know that I'm quite there yet. I mean, they were obviously trying to move away from Jimmy for a reason. But people look around, guys. They're not that scared of the Vikings. Eagles already smoked them. The Seahawks, it's like, okay, yeah, but it's still Geno and whatever. Eagles already beat the Cowboys. They're not really buying the Giants. The Bucks, I think people are a little bit afraid of just because it's Brady. And then there's the Niners. You have legitimate talent, and you have a legitimate playoff pedigree to the point where when people say who could knock the Eagles off in the playoffs, they talk about the Niners.
Ross, and that was where I was going, and I'm telling Steiny and everybody else to listen. It's not just about this year, and you cited the 4-4 record, but this team with McCaffrey really didn't get that 4-4 record. Steiny told you they're getting healthy. I look at Philly. I know it was one game last Thursday. I saw the Texans. They got a little physical with them. Dallas did in the second half. Minnesota, Dallas, the dirty little secret, and I watch them. That's my team, Ross. They can't stop the run. So with all that, the fact that the Niners without McCaffrey went to L.A. in the fourth quarter, had the lead, that's why I'm kind of sipping the Kool-Aid of, oh, man, now they're healthy. Jimmy has a new weapon. Doesn't it add up?
Well, we're about to find out, right? I mean, this is an interesting first game for them to come back from after the bye. It's a pretty good opponent. They're beat up. The 5-3 Chargers. I feel like this is a pretty interesting game. Like, do they pick up where they left off in the last game? And are we like, oh, wow, here come the Niners? Or do they lose, or is it close? It's a primetime opportunity. Here's what I know. There will be a significant narrative for both these teams after this game Sunday night, right?
Yeah.
Like, if the Niners win, it's, oh, boy, they got the band back together. They're getting healthy. McCaffrey's a great fit. Shanahan knows how to use them. Niners are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And Chargers are same old. They can never win 2 in a row. They're 500 forever. They're too beat up. Or the opposite. Chargers win this one to get 6-3, and people will be talking about, them being able to get a big win on the road, and it's not the same old Chargers, and they'd be saying the Niners, it's just not their year. I got to be honest with you. I kind of feel like the Niners are going to kill them. I got to look at what the betting line is again. I didn't bet on this game on the Even Money podcast. It's my betting podcast, Guru, that you better listen to. And
he's 5-10 right now in the NBA, by the way.
I got to pull it up again. But unless the line's crazy, I kind of feel like the Niners are going to kill him.
Ross, our producer's a Charger fan. He just his shoulders just dropped when you said that, because I told him I'm with you. The Chargers got a slew of injuries. I love Herbert, but they don't have enough. I think it's going to be ugly, but this is why they play the games. But you're right. And I'll say this, Kyle Shanahan, there are no excuses now. I expect, and I believe the league, 30 points a game from this offense now with C-Mac and Debo. Like, there's no excuses, so we'll see how he answers the bell on that.
Well, that's the other thing, too, because the only, I guess I would say, relative weakness for the Eagles right now has been their run defense. So I think that's sort of one of the other reasons why there's a little bit of concern and trepidation as it relates to the Niners for the Eagles, because everyone knows their track record and history when it comes to going ahead and running the rock.
Yeah. Hey, Ross, have a great rest of the week, and we'll touch base with you next week, man.
Absolutely. Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you switching the days, and shout out to Fillmore. What's his name?
Mike.
Fillmore Mike, baby. Thank you. I hope that was the best 14 minutes of your life, Fillmore Mike.
That's Ross Tucker.
Well, Steiny, you being messy, man.